Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us some support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
For generations, fans of IndyCar could only dream of stepping into the cockpit and feeling the rush of going wheel to wheel at over 200 miles per hour. Thanks to the latest in sim racing technology, we can get one step closer. Talented, fearless drivers battle it out in virtual race cars to claim supremacy at some of the world's most demanding tracks. This is the RIL, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, presented by Raceverse.
Hello and welcome to round number 5 of the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is the Indianapolis 300. And this is Matt Houston from Raceverse, joined by Gary Godso in the booth. Thanks again for joining us, Gary. How's it going?
Oh, man, it's so good to be here calling an IndyCar race from Indianapolis. You know I'm excited. I mean, we saw last time I was here, I was excited because it was just getting to call IndyCars. But now we get to call IndyCars at Indianapolis, and this is where it's a lot of fun. Plus, with this big field tonight, we're going to see lots and lots of action.
Currently, cars circulating the track. Everybody's out there doing a 4-lap average. So the first time we've done a 4-lap average here in the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, and we'll see how these drivers end up doing it. It's a hot track out there tonight, or today for them, tonight for us, but they're having to cope with that, and we'll see how these speeds come in. We're expecting 4-lap average in the 227, 228 range.
I think currently right now, I think Coogan has the provisional at a 39.6, and he's on lap 4. Okay, we got some times coming in now. Spates, Sinkowski, Holler, they've all completed their runs.
Yeah, they're going to start coming in. DeMade with the first 228 lap.
So, just to kind of clue the folks in at home, this will be a 4-lap average. Now, we got a chance to try these. Matt and I did these setups. They are wicked fast. The first 3 laps are going to be incredibly fast. These guys it's going to be way faster than the fixed setup. Look at Shane Coogan. He just got loose right there, right on his 4th lap, which I was just getting ready to say. The first 3 laps, and he's into the wall.
That's going to end his qualifying attempt.
Yeah, that's going to really shake things up. But exactly what I was getting ready to say, this is the 4th lap with this setup. It is treacherous, extremely treacherous. And you're going to see a lot of guys losing it off the 4th lap, where the right rear is going to be in the neighborhood of about 300 degrees. Now, during the race, the setup is just as equally as fast, but you're going to start seeing them start losing that right rear at about 20 to 22 laps into a run. So towards the end of these fuel stints, it's going to be pretty interesting. Are we going to see 20 and a caution and a 20 and another caution? or are we just going to see, them going all out for 20 laps and then slowing it down for the next 10 just to get to the pit window if there's no caution?
So Shane had his incident. I saw Donchak also had an incident, loose off of turn 4. I suspect that Bensi might have had an issue as well.
Yeah, he might have had too. Yeah, I'm showing him at the pits on lap 4. So
he our defending champion.
Yeah.
We just had another driver through turn in the short shoot, Kyle Lara, new driver here, rookie driver, mistake. Jonathan Libertor is out here. I've got him on the cameras now. We're seeing him circulate around. We might be looking at almost half of the cars not qualifying for this race and starting, in whatever order iRacing decides to start them in. This is going to be interesting. So currently, our current leader of the points, Dakota DeMade, in the provisional poll. And you're talking about that lap time, Gary. I actually didn't try this qualifying setup on a 4-lap average. I only did 2 laps with it. So even then, it was tricky.
And even when you're expecting it, like the first time I had it and it came right around on me, I go, oh, okay, sneaky little bastard. The next time I went through and I was even expecting it, it was still tough to catch.
Yeah.
So, these guys are going to have their hands full. And I think we got Isidro on the track now starting his attempt. We got about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in qualifying here. So I don't know if he's going to have enough time.
He also just went around the exit cone. I don't think he can do that, can he? Or is he on his warm? Nope, he's stopping it.
No, he's stopping. Yeah.
Yeah. He went around the blue cone. He went exited the short shoot, so he's resetting. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. Yeah, I don't think he will.
No,
it takes 2.5 minutes. I
don't think he will either.
I think he was trying to, get the clock on time.
Now here's Christian Alessio, excuse me. He clocks in at 11th. He just did, and Simkowski and Holler, they just did 4 clean laps just to get them in. So they're going to be up into the top 15 or so pretty safely. It's going to be interesting where you're going to have, some of these cars you don't normally expect to see in the upper third of this lineup. You're going to see it's almost like an inverted field, like a heat race type thing, where you're going to have a lot of the fast guys that have problems. They're going to be in the back and they're going to come forward. And you're going to have a lot of these mid-packers, and I'm not nothing against everyone. Every race needs to have a mid-packer. I'm just not making fun of anybody, but you have the mid-pack. They're starting up front for a change, and so you're going to see probably this mid-pack collision of people going forward and people going backwards is going to be an interesting battle in the mid-pack. So I'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really treacherous, though, I have to imagine, in the mid-pack and near the back of the field with just how we're talking about how the setup has been running so far this week since this setup was released to 2 drivers. So last week we had the Turbo Series drivers had like a special race where I'm trying to find out who was here that was from that. It was James Curtis. Is he out here?
I did see him in the lineup, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's 5th. So that those laps that he did back in that turbo 30 lapper, those are helping him out here tonight.
Again, Isidro is putting in some big times. He was purple in sector 1, had a personal best in sector 2 on lap 2, but he's just going to run out of time because there's only 36 seconds left here on qualifying, and it takes about 38, 39 seconds to make a lap.
That's right. Yeah, it's that mistake he did pulling out of the pit lane is going to be the end of his qualifying run. Well, while we have it, let's go through our points. I know you probably don't have them up there, Gary, but Dakota DeMade is our championship leader with 151 points. James Watson in P2. Gavin Sanders not here tonight. A couple drivers here not tonight is Isaac Morris and Gavin Sanders and Isaac Morris in third and fourth. Shane Coogan in fifth. Isidro there sixth. Simkowski seventh. Jaspers in eighth. Caleb Bensi, biggest mover. He's in ninth. He's moved up 11 spots after the last couple of races. He missed a race. He's had some bad luck as well, but he's starting to move up finally as we have cars heading to the grid. And rounding out the top 10 is Antonio Bonini. So we'll go through this grid. this will be an interesting grid.
It is a very interesting lineup, but we only had, in practice, we had a whole bunch of cars in the 228 bracket, only one car in the 228 bracket, and that's your pole setter, Dakota.
Okay, our pole sitter is Dakota DeMade at a 228.008 four-lap average, followed by P2, Hans Schlegel, Andrew Spates there in P3, John Cosgrove P4, James Curtis P5, Jacob Odell in P6. Followed by Lucas Santos in P7, Christian Jasper P8, Christopher Kresge, our admin here in P9, Scott Wheeler P10, Christian Alessio, P11, great run by Christian there. Alex Simkowski in P12. Michael,
I got the next page up for you. 13th is Michael Holler. 14th is Nicholas Isidro. He is the highest no speed driver. So from 14 on, we have no speed. So James Watson and Neil Lusher, 15th and 16th. Caleb Morrissey and Caleb Bensi, the row of Caleb in 17th and 18th.
That's convenient. There we've got Chris Albee in P19, Lewis Woodall P20, John Fries in P21, P22, Antonio Bonini, Shane Coogan there. We saw he was fast, but he's starting back there in P23, Drew White P24.
We got Stephen Ritters and Hayden Herman in 25th and 26th, Alex Teeter and Peter Donchuk in 27th, 28th. John Lynch and Jonathan Libator in 29th and 30th.
See anybody else back here? We have Kyle Lara, final row there, row 11, or well, I don't know how many rows we've got here today. I'm thinking of the 3 rows of 3, or 3 wide rows. That wouldn't, but that's our final qualifier
row
out
15,
here.
yeah,
something like 16, that. Yep. Yeah, by himself back there though.
And I'm curious to see if anyone is starting from the pits.
Yeah, good call on that. I think with how there's going to be an early caution. I know that it's not the favorite method, but that's something me and you have done, Gary, from time to time, and it works sometimes.
It pays off.
There's going to be a caution here early on, and you're going to catch right back up here.
Here we go. Green flag.
Dakota DeMay brings us down. Green flag. Got a car, I believe that is Santos, maybe on the high side. Not 100% sure who that is. Going 3 wide into turn 1, back for about.
Oh, we already got contacted 1. It's Kresge. It's just the whole back half of the field.
Yep. I saw Isidro was around. I believe Shane Coogan's in that. Scott Wheeler, Bensi, as you mentioned. Bensi looks like he's got it going. There's some damage on that car, though. Well, that is kind of what the expectation was, unfortunately, that Gary and I were thinking might happen here. Let's see if we can start pulling up some replays, though. Might be seeing a lot of that pace truck here tonight.
Well, if the field gets too small, maybe not.
True. So I'm looking at Wheeler gets into the back. I think Wheeler gets in the back of Kresge. Isidro's right there. Alessio's involved. Lusher's involved. Drew White's involved. Shane hits the the interior pit wall quite heavily where the Armco is. Yeah, we've got about, what do we count? At least 10 destroyed cars out there, I would say. Let's go on board with our previous champion here and see what it looked like from his view, Caleb Bensi here.
it would have been a sound strategy to probably start from the pits on this one, especially with the way seeing those qualification times are tough to come by.
James Watson was okay. Caleb, he looked like he tried to stomp on the brakes, but he got hit from behind then. But he is going, at least. I don't know. There's going to be some damage there. And if anything, I would not want to have damage with this particular setup. We were already talking about it, cooking the tires. I see literally, I would estimate about half the field are on the pit lane right now. So yeah, I think that starting from the pits was the sound strategy here tonight. If you had started from the pits, I think you'd be in about P15 right now.
You'd be right in the mid-pack, yeah.
Let's see here. Trying to figure out how many cars we actually have on that pit lane. Okay, there we go. Literally, the top 16 cars have stayed out, and from 17th and on are in the pit lane getting repairs, getting fuel top-up, anything they can to get their cars back together here. I'm sure some cars are completely terminal, though, too.
Well, yeah, and actually, if I was back in 15th and 16th, so your Teeter, your Donchak, your Liberator, if my car's in one piece, I might just think about hitting here and keep topping off the tank, just get up last in line, keep topping off the tank, and ride this first stint out, because you know that you're not going to fall any further than where you are right now because of all those damaged cars. It might be just time to kind of settle in the back and see what other attrition could take place ahead of you before starting to make your move. Again, this is 300 miles. There's not going to be a lot of fuel strategy in this race because it's going to be 30, 30, 30, 30. So it takes the mathematics out of it. But still, you can put yourself in a position where you're going to pass other cars. We're the easiest place to pass them when they're on pit road.
That's right. And I see Albie trying to get out ahead of the pace car. I don't think that's going to work. Yep, he stopped it. He's going to go down 2 laps, unfortunately. Basically, everybody involved with that first lap incident is 2 laps down, 3 laps down. So I think we've got some pretty terminal cars out here. Benty is still on the pit lane. Morrissey on pit lane. Lusher looks like he's called it a day. Isidro on Isidro is going to be out here. When you see the car on pit lane and it has less than 4 wheels, that's a good sign that it's not coming back. Is light out on the base car? I think it is. So
yeah, we got 1 to green, so we're getting ready to get back underway. It's going to be interesting to see what some of these damaged cars come up to speed for the very first time.
Yeah, that's make sure to turn your weight jacker all the way so to the positive, so that you're not loose.
Yeah, that's another thing. Even in this is the second race in a row that I know I've been in or we've covered here at Indianapolis, and the other one was the Vor IndyCar race or Indianapolis race, where there was a wreck in turn 1, and a lot of that has to do is these cars are still very loose in turn 1 coming up to speed, because they don't have all that speed and all that aero helping to push them down that you would normally on a full speed lap. So their cars are going to be very loose through there, and that's exactly what happened again. Once again, it was like that through Indy Fixed, and it's been like that for quite a while in this tire model, and people should have known better. We're getting to go green.
Yeah. Here we go. Dakota DeMade going to bring us back to green flag. Andrew Spates in P2, James Curtis P3. Going back to that thought there, Gary, I was talking to Cody Claiborne yesterday about the Formula Indy Series race. We also had a accident on the first lap, first corner, and that one as well. So it's like literally every Indianapolis race with this updated tire model, it seems like, has an early caution like that. So Dakota is going to lead our first lap under green. It's the 5th lap that we've completed today. Looking back in the field, though, seeing how our other drivers are coming up to speed, Albie, I think, might have had another pit stop or something like that, because he's on the access lane once again.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I would say so.
And this is really going to shake the points up.
I'd say that Dakota has a smile on his face, though, as our championship leader. That several drivers that were competing with him for that championship lead are out of the race, and he is at the front of this one. But he's still got, 114 laps to do here tonight, so it's not done and dusted.
And even if some of those guys that got in that first lap incident can come out and make a lap or two, they will probably put themselves ahead in the standings, and that will help with the points. So if they can sit there and let's say they have 10 minutes worth of required repairs, sit there and take your 10 minutes worth. And then if you can, get out there and make a lap. If you can't, you need to park it.
See James Watson going inside of Michael Holler in turn 3. Holler's using that high side, as we know, Gary, that it's open for business, as you say, here at Indianapolis in iRacing anyway. That high line works for defending.
Yeah, definitely defending and running down some people. Not so much passing. You can surprise somebody and and you can suddenly appear on their outside going into the short chute, for instance. But it's really good for defending and running people down. We got a car re-entering the race here on the back stretch, right behind the leaders. It looks like Antonio Benini.
Okay. I went and checked.
Try to make some laps to move up the standings.
I see Morrissey also coming back out as well. So that's that strategy that you just mentioned, where get out there, turn a lap or two. You might improve 10 positions in that one lap that you complete.
Top 3 kind of sticking together. We got a bit of a battle for 4th and 5th developing right now. And then that's going to probably shape up a little bit more with the lap traffic ahead of them and that dirty air.
So we've got Jacob Odell. He's actually the one that took it 3 wide at the start there. It worked out for him. He's actually, I know this car. It is the Voltic Pistol car. So Jacob here is a friend of Dakota's, our leader there, and he's supporting that Voltic Pistol entry here tonight, which is less than 24 hours. A Voltic Pistol will be no longer on sale in the Steam Summer Sale. And Jacob here is making some moves here. I think that was a lap traffic he was going around.
We got a car on the access road in turn 3 that looks like it's severely damaged with some bad A-arm damage. I don't know who that is.
Looking here, not seeing anybody. Jasper getting around Schlegel there.
Yeah, top 3 have pulled away.
I'm going to go on board with a Jasper here. Get a look down this back straightaway into turn 3. Looks like Jasper's going to try to make a move on the outside into turn 1, see if this works. And it does. I don't know if that was for position or not. Let's see here.
Yeah,
yes,
it was.
It was.
Yeah,
okay.
That was. And so he's using the high side where you can, in the rare instance where you can actually use it for offense. Definitely using the high side to run him down.
And so you mentioned
there
this.
he's on the bottom.
Yeah. You mentioned a little bit earlier that the top 3 really have pulled away. Odell is in P4, and he's about 3 seconds back from Curtis up in P3. And with that little bit of fuel that they've saved, everybody can make it to that lap 30 now. So I would think right when you get to about lap 30, 31, you might as well just duck it in if you're and pit if you're the leader.
Sure.
We'll see what Dakota ends up doing.
And also keep in mind, right around lap 20, these tires are going to be treacherous again.
True.
So we could be seeing some incidents there, and that's again where you might see some cars opting for the high line again. Not putting as much effort into that turn and keeping pressure off the right rear to keep the car from coming around, because typically when you're loose, you don't want to turn that wheel as much as possible, and that's typically when you start going to the high line. And as you see right now, I'm going back to Jasper, and P5 who's tracking down Odell. Jasper's gone back to the high line to run down Odell. And another reason that the high line works running down your opponent is you're running where he ain't. Most everyone just goes down to the white line. They don't think about to use the high line even for defensive. It's just a habit of going down to the white line. So all that clean air is hitting Jasper's front wings and allowing him to slowly creep in and reel in Odell.
We did see back in the Formula Indy race, we did see Caleb Bensi use that high line for defensive purposes, if you recall correctly. That was a little bit controversial, but
yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, it got some people heated up, but I don't think what he did really was dirty or illegal or unwarranted in any way. I mean, he's using it to defend, and it's there to defend, and you got a chance to use it firsthand in the the ERL Indy 500 race, where you held off an extremely fast, a much faster car for about 3 laps before he finally got impatient and then very desperate to pass you.
yes, that's right. As Jasper has really caught Odell here, so we'll see if he can work this high line, get around him, because he's shown that he can use it so far.
Yeah, that time by, he was a 10th faster, and that's about what the high line gets you around here. You're about a 10th faster than everyone else, and that's just because you're keeping the momentum up. Jasper that time was a 41.3. Odell was a 41.4.
I will say, though, for Odell's sake, he doesn't have anybody ahead of him, so I would think the low line will work out for him. If he did have somebody else ahead of him, I think that he would really have a lot of struggle with keeping that low line. So we'll see. This is like going to be proof here. What is the better line here when you're passing without any dirty air for either of the car as well?
And that time by, Jasper again a 10th faster, 41.5 to a 41.6. And he's definitely in the draft. Now at this point, Odell can he's got run down. Now whether Jasper can pass with almost 20 lap old tires is one thing. Odell might want to use this as a bit of strategy. Go ahead and pass me. I'm just going to tuck him behind you, and I'm going to save on some fuel mileage.
Yeah, this early in the race, you don't need to defend a position to the wall anyway.
No. Yeah, yes. Lap 17 is not a part in the race where you want to go, where really it's justifiable to go 3 wide on somebody.
No. So one of our drivers in chat, Kresge, was just saying a comment about a lot of aggression at that beginning of the race, and we had a lot of wadded up cars because of that. Too bad. But he also wanted to mention that James Curtis, the turbo driver there running in P3, really strong showing by James Curtis. And James Curtis we also have covered over in the Tuesday Night Thunder League, the PM18's Indy Pro 2000 cars. They run over there Tuesday nights, and he's had some victories over there as well. Really strong driver in those PM18s.
Yeah, shout out to those Daredevil Turbo Series drivers.
Yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow for the Daredevil Turbo Series at Lucas Oil Raceway. We're not putting them out here. We're doing Lucas Oil Raceway this season with those cars, which I really love Lucas Oil Raceway, so I'm going to be tuning into that one as I can. I'll be broadcasting another series, but I'll be keeping my eye on that while I broadcast it. Very tricky track over there. How many miles away from this track is about 10 miles to the west of Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Not very far at all. It's right there in Claremont.
Yep.
Well, I'm watching inside of Jasper's car, and he's just kind of riding around in 6th gear right down behind Odell. So he is using Odell.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut back. We've got some close battles. I'm gonna give some TV time to some of our other drivers here. Lucas Santos is about half a second back from Woodall, but they're all just kind of single file. Not much they can do. Alex Teeter, though, he's a turbo driver. He is a 10th back on James Watson, who Watson's about 2 seconds back from Hayden Herman in that 12th position. So Hayden able to get through that first lap melee there, unlike Caleb, unfortunately, there. And the reason I say that is because Hayden and Caleb are buddies over there in Ohio. And we probably have a lot of viewers over there.
Yeah. Well, typically Caleb brings the entire family to watch.
That's right. What were you saying to look at, Gary?
Yeah, I have to go back and watch that opening lap replay. I don't know if it was much aggression as to it was just a simple same old where your cars are getting loose and drivers aren't expecting it going into turn 1 on lap 1. I'm willing to bet that that's part of it.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it. I'm not going to say who's at fault on here on the broadcast as the broadcaster, but I bet there will be some contests.
Sorry, Lewis Woodall just scrubbed the wall coming out of 1, and that's lap 22, so these tires are starting to go away.
Oh, yeah, he's you can audibly hear that he's a little bit off there, trying to keep it together. Lucas Santos there in P11 is going to try to see if he can take advantage. These drivers behind are going to start smelling blood when you see that car go up in the wall.
Well, and Santos should play it really wise here, because what he doesn't want to have happen in front of him is Lewis go ahead, and we got a car in the pits right now. I'm not sure who that is, but he does not want to see Lewis go ahead and get loose and start to spin in front of him and take him out. In fact, the car in front of Lewis got big time loose. Holler got fishtailing coming out of 1, so we got all sorts of handling issues right now.
This is exactly what I experienced when I ran this setup about last week. It got wicked loose at a point, and we'll see how these drivers cope with it. That car hitting the pit lane earlier, Gary, was the 2-lap down car of Jonathan Liberatore, so he's through and serviced and coming back out.
So let me look at the speeds this time by with Holler. He did a 41.4. Actually, that's pretty good with getting kind of loosey-goosey in the back. Lewis Woodall just did a 40.919. That's a purple lap. So, wow.
He might have figured something out with his settings after that near-death experience.
Yeah. He just went purple on that lap. So he figured something out. But he definitely did smack the wall, and Holler definitely was loose coming out of 1. So these guys are desperately cranking on that weight jacker.
Yeah, so near-death experience by Lewis and maybe even Holler there, but they're so far so good. And at the front of the field, though, Dakota's actually pulled out a 1.5 seconds over Spates in P2.
Woodall is trying to knock down the turn 1 wall. He is trying.
That was also my experience with this setup. I was really trying to drive it really hard. Oh, I just heard somebody might have crunched the wall, or maybe it was some net code or something like that. I heard a loud bang as we had a car. I don't know who that was. The blue car. Morrissey, slow, but he's a couple laps. He's actually 8 laps down, so he's just getting out of the way for these lead lap drivers.
The track temp's getting up there. It's gone increased. It's now 127. We started at right around 122 during practice.
Yeah, so our track temperature will probably go up for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Right at the end of the race, it'll start going down.
Now, Holler got a little loose again out of exit of turn 1 and 2. So these guys in the mid pack are trying to hustle it, and they're sticking it out there on the edge and coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, I did feel with this particular setup that there's a lot of room that you can feel like you're going to, try to take advantage of, and then it might bite you hard once that those tires start to really heat up.
All right, that time everyone cleanly through. So their spidey senses are now aware that the cars and that especially that right rear is pretty well spent. We're on lap 27. We probably got I would say the window will start opening here in about 3 laps, and I would imagine everyone's going to have to come in between 35 and 40.
We go on board with Christian Jasper, still battling with Jacob Odell. Just about a 10th back there. Jasper, no doubt, saving a ton of fuel, which could help him at this pit stop, because if he ends up pitting about lap 30, he's going to put less fuel in the car than Odell will put in the car, with Odell being the lead of this little group here.
Yeah, that's if they stop at the same time. If he decides to run it out for an extra couple of laps, hoping for a caution in that time frame, which, you know, it is a gamble worth taking, especially if you're not going to go a lap down. Might as well.
Yeah, it's going to depend on... So when the leader pits, Dakota there, you want to be 5 seconds to the leader, and I'm seeing Jasper is 7 seconds back. That's like to guarantee that you won't go a lap down. About 30 seconds on the pit lane, and then getting up to speed a few more seconds from there, and it's a 40-second lap.
Now Dakota's getting 0 fuel mileage at the moment. He's out there all by himself, so he's going to be running a pretty flat number. Spates might be getting a little bit off of Dakota, being at 1.2 back. About the draft envelope's about 1.5-ish back. So he is right there on the outskirts of that envelope right now.
Yeah, I bet he'd be seeing a little bit of fuel save. There's a number that you can see on the steering wheel, and that will tell you like your miles per gallon, or if you're using the metric system, it tells you liters per lap. But it certainly will start to come down. Even when you see that car, you know, like 1.5 seconds ahead, it will start to come down. Even if you don't see quite the speed from it as you do maybe when you're a half second or a second back from that driver. Lap 30. Pit stop window is open for Dakota.
Time by Dakota 41.7. Spates at 41.4. She starts reeling him in. He's now under a second.
Wonder if Dakota's just, these tires are, they're spent at this point.
Yeah, if you don't have to push it, there's no reason to push it. If you could manage the gap, so to speak, go ahead.
Wonder if Dakota's going to hit that pit lane. And here he comes.
There he goes, yep.
Spates is going to stay out. Not even
Odell
a tire smoke for Dakota.
A whole bunch of people coming in right there at pit entrance.
Yep, I see Odell. Holler stays out. So Spates is going to be out here, and he's going to lead a lap. That is worth a valuable point.
So it looks like Spates, Curtis, and Jasper all decided to stay out for that lap.
Yeah, and I think of these cars, Jasper probably has saved the most amount of fuel, I would think. Cause,
Spates in, Jasper in, or Spates in, Curtis in. Jasper going to take another lap, and he's going to get a credit to leading it.
Yeah, you want to get that lap led as early as possible, and then you don't have to be thinking about it later in the race.
Yeah, Jasper definitely saved at least an extra lap or two of fuel.
Yeah, I would say
behind
so.
The draft there and Odell. So now he's at a point where he's like, "Come on, caution! Come on, caution!" Because you just put a good portion of the field a lap down, or mostly a lap down, and he will want to come out well ahead of this one. But it's just a gamble. We'll see what happens. I'd say he's probably coming in here in the next lap.
Yeah, I would think he's. If I was him, I led that lap, I'd be ducking in now. Looks like he's coming in.
He is.
See Spates coming out of the pits here.
Oh, wow. Lewis Woodall is going to stay out for an extra lap.
Okay. And we know he was struggling on those tires a little bit too. So, but he's got the clean air now, so it's a little bit easier to cope with the tires when you're in clean air.
Yeah, you got Woodall and Santos, and I believe Hayden Herman's part of that group as well. It's stayed out, so they're on a slightly longer stint schedule.
I do see Hayden is in the pit lane at this moment, so
okay.
Yep. So once everything cycles through, Dakota will be back in the lead, but Spates is only 4/10 back from there. So our battle for the lead is heating up after this round of pit stops here.
All right, Woodall and Santos in. So this is going to cycle through the leaders.
That slow run down through the pit lane.
Oh, and you know what's hurting Dakota right now is he has lap traffic.
Yes, he has Dunchek right ahead of him.
So just for those of us keeping math at home, actually let's wait for the pit stops finally to shake through, and I can probably go through who was out there the longest.
Mm-hmm. I saw Dakota got around. That was Morrissey. Yep.
Okay, so that time by of the leaders, Dakota went 31 laps. Spates and Curtis went 32. Jasper went 33. Lewis Woodall and Lucas Santos went the longest with 34 laps.
Well, we'll see. That extra fuel can help you late in the race. That means, you know, on that lap 90 when you make your final pit stop, that pit is going to be shorter than, say, Dakota's here.
Yeah.
A little bit less fuel in the car.
Hey, Donchak is on the tail end of lead lap, so he's going to want to hang on here, tooth and nail, to stay on that lead lap. But I don't think there's a pass in the 3, so you can only defend it for so long.
Yeah, and Pete's a good guy. We run with him over in the Formula Indy series, and you know, he's going to make the right choice there. He's not going to try to fight too hard with Dakota there. Oh, we've got a car. It was Morrissey. Hard. I bet we're going to get a yellow here.
Caution,
oh, boy.
Yeah, got a caution.
So that was what Donchak did not want. Going back to that.
No.
Right when he went a lap down.
Well,
we might have lucky dogs here.
They have, yeah, this is... yeah, Reddit does the one non-IndyCar thing, and the Reddit League does give the lucky dog, so he will get that back, which will be fortunate for him. But what it's not going to be fortunate for is that could have happened for 3-4 laps earlier than that. We'd be looking at a whole different situation of leaders.
Yeah, we might have seen Jasper or. Heck, Woodall.
I think we would have seen Woodall and Santos probably.
Oh yeah, him too. He was up there
coming out the leaders out of that one. So I don't think they just stopped, and I don't think they're going to stop again. Now, what I would do if I was again in the position of Teeter, Watson, and White, who are at the tail end of the lead lap in 13th, 14th, and 15th, is might as well come down pit road and just put on new tires again and probably fill it up and try to make this stint go as long as absolutely possible.
That's right. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I'm going to quickly we haven't had a chance to do any commercial break for our valued sponsor in Schaeffer's Oil, so let's go ahead and do one now.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, some words from our Schaeffer's Oil sponsor. We're under caution here in Indianapolis and the Indianapolis 300. This is the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, all part of the RIL. got 120 laps to go. Well, I'm saying total of 120 laps. We're almost to lap 40 as Donchak gets that lap back. I just saw him get the lucky dog there.
And he's getting the wave around there.
Yep.
So that will put him at the tail end. And normally they do that with 2 to green. I don't know if they're 2 to green right now or not.
Yeah, I think it's the lights are still on the pace car, so we're 2 to green. We'll be 1/3 through this race. 100 miles in.
So we're still not out of the danger zone yet, at least on the restart. Again, getting loose is going to be the same problem going into turn 1 on the restart as it was at the start of the race. So hopefully these guys have noted that and will change their weight jacker accordingly to get them through the south portion of the track, getting through turn 2 before they start heading to the north portion of the track where they can probably start setting their weight jacker back to a more normal state. But yeah, coming up to speed, turns 1 and 2, any restart, whether it be green flag or just a restart in the middle of the race, are still going to be slippery, still going to be loose. Yeah, by the time they get to the north end of the track in 3 and 4, they'll have enough built up speed that the aerodynamics will be able to counteract the loose situation that they were getting in turns 1 and 2.
Now, I was going to see if I could get a replay of Morrissey here. Not sure if this is back to it or not, but we'll see what we've got, and then I'll switch it back to when our leader takes us to the green. Okay, yep. So he got loose coming off of 4, and it was very similar to the, although that was at a restart, the Oliver Askew crash from not this year's 500, but the 2020 500. Except this one was at full speed, and that one was just coming up to speed for Askew. But even that was a pretty devastating crash in its own right.
And then that was that loose off exit bit where you might be too high on the weight jacker, which is possible for him considering that he was involved in that first lap incident and might have been sporting a little damage.
That's right. And I will say, with this setup that they're running, I could really feel the weight jacker on this car more so than I could with the standard iRacing fixed setup. So the weight jacker, it kind of shifts weight around on the right rear of the car. And you can really feel the difference when you're moving that around in these cars, particularly since they came out with the new tire model. And that's we keep saying new tire model, but you know that's been out for how long has it been now? 8 months, I'd say. It came out in early December, but it's still it's a night and day difference. And some of these drivers that might not run these cars every week. Dakota here runs it every week. Jasper runs it every week, multiple times a week. A lot of these drivers, and some of the drivers that don't, they're going to get caught out by it. As we're heading back to green.
Yeah, right before we go to green here, I saw a shot down the backstretch, and I saw the DuPont-looking IndyCar of Drew White coming off of pit road. So he did exactly what I said I was going to do. Is if you're back there at the end of the lead lap, go in, top off, and try to get some extra fuel mileage out of this thing as Dakota's starting to bring them up to speed. So let's check turn 1 and see if everyone's prepared enough to make it through there without getting loose and wrecking.
That's right. Single file so far. Side by side back, Woodall and Schlegel, it appears. Through turn 2 they go. Herman moving into 10th position, also looking to take advantage. A little bit of snaking this time on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and I think this might be a little bit of, as you were saying during the break, if we go and get through this little segment here and these cars start separating, we are probably going to go green to the end. And getting these positions are pretty desperate right now because passing we've seen is pretty hard. There's Watson trying to make a position on Teeter a little bit further back there.
Yeah, I'm looking at Herman, and Herman passed Schlegel back in turn 3, and now he's working on Woodall.
Cosgrove, sorry.
Not going to work, though, so stays P9 for Herman. Looking at Watson here.
Yeah, Watson is P2 in the championship, and avoiding that wreck is going to be very fortuitous for him, as even though he's kind of riding here in the mid-pack, most everyone that was around him, with the exception of Dakota, are out of the race.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that right when that crash happened, I was saying, I think Dakota's like, that's a sigh of relief for him. He knew that he wanted to put it on pole. Or who do we have?
We got, it was Donchek smacked the wall coming out of turn 1 and 2, and he's kind of trying to shake it off coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, I see a little slow. It's got Benini behind him. Let's see if he can make it through turn 3. Oh, he blinked there for a second. So far, so good.
Definitely smacked the wall, though.
Whoa, Spates, I'm looking back at the lead. Spates almost smacked the wall. He had a really great run. He was literally right on Dakota's gearbox. And coming out of turn 1, he went really wide. That car just drifted up on him. He almost smacked the wall. That'd have been a big hit, too.
Looks like he's got a bit of another run coming up right now. At that time by Spates, 41.4, Dakota 41.4, so they're almost identical.
Curtis is just sitting back there in third and just watching this. Although, back when you get in third or fourth, and when these cars are close together, he's probably got the hardest car to drive. He wants to get up there and battle for the first, with the first 2 guys there, but Dakota has the easiest car to drive. Spates has the second easiest car to drive. Everybody behind, it gets to be a handful back there because of that aero wash.
And then for Curtis, where are you going to go when you get up there?
Yeah.
It's just let's just stay here. Let's see if maybe these two can get the race in and get a little contact and they wreck each other. Then, I just made the easiest pass in the world right there.
Yep.
Or I just, kind of ride it down, turn it to engine map 2 or 3 and kind of cruise behind him and work on fuel mileage. He's really not in a bad spot, despite he's probably getting the tail end or the ass end of the handling, so to speak.
Yeah. So good battle between Jasper and Odell once again. Really close. As Jasper looks inside in the short chute, turn 3, 4, not gonna make it.
Yeah, you want to try to pass in the short chute. You typically don't do that, at least during the middle of the stint. You'll do that on restarts and that type of thing.
Yep.
You don't see them very often when they're strung out like this. Typically, kind of patient and pick your spots.
I mean, I've done it before, but
I've done it before too. Yeah.
You pray. Oh, we've got, I think it was Woodall really high. Or it was Haller. I'm actually going to get a replay of this one because it was really close to contact. And I had it right there.
Well, a couple of these guys at this point, definitely if I'm Watson, I'm P2 in the championship. My focus now in this race is finish.
That's right. Yeah.
If I pick up any positions, that's bonus. Here we got Jasper looking on the inside of Odell going to 1. Curtis got really loose coming off of 1 into the short chute there. But yeah, I'd be looking at survival more than anything if I'm Watson. Same thing if I'm Woodall or some other folks that typically have a hard time finishing races. I get taken out by wrecks a lot. I would just be focusing. Okay, you know what? I focus on just getting these next, we're at 50, so 70 laps. That's all I got to complete. Just complete this race. That's all I need to do.
I see Spates up there. I'm actually on board with Jasper right now, but I see Spates, and as Dakota does a little bit of an S move across the yard of bricks, but Spates has dropped back a little bit and into the clutches of Curtis, and that's probably why Curtis is, he's moving his weight jacker around, trying to get aggressive with it, and as you said, he got a little bit loose through that short chute.
Yeah, like you said, on this particular setup, it is very weight jacker sensitive, and it's like you go one click too far, and it literally is a bridge too far. You will lose it. It's a night and day thing. Yeah.
Suddenly, you're laying down some tread with that right rear tire, and you don't want to be doing that.
I think it's a bit early to be doing the snake. In fact, if I was Spates, I probably wouldn't be following him. I'd just let him scrub off speed, and I'll keep my car in a straight line and maintain my speed.
I bet Dakota's doing that for you, Gary.
I don't know what it's going to get you at this point. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a thing, though. I don't like it myself, but yeah. But yeah, exactly. It's we're lap 50 of 120, so I guess Dakota just wants to be leading this thing. Best place to be as Jasper goes inside of Odell. This one, he made it work so far. See if Odell tries to take advantage back, though. That is Jasper into P4 for the moment.
So let's see how Jasper does running the high line, running down Curtis. And let him collect himself a little bit after making that pass and get him back into a bit of a
get into a rhythm.
Bit of a rhythm, yeah, and start using that high line. He'll probably start running down Curtis. So current stint information: Dakota is 20 laps in, Odell's 20 laps in. Teeter's 20 laps in. Most everyone else is at 19 and 18 laps in. Shortest folks would be Woodall and Santos are only 17 laps into their current stint. So some people are approaching 2/3 distance on those tanks of theirs.
I'm not sure what happened to Drew White, but he is showing as out of the race now. But looking at drivers that might have topped up or something like that, James Watson and Donchak are in 14th and 15th. They're only on 13th laps in their stint versus, like you said, Dakota's in 2021.
Yeah.
But
Drew White, I see him pitting at lap 40 for something. So maybe go back and see at lap 40 what happened. And I think he's done. Actually, I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back out then. We are coming up on lap 60, though. That's our next pit window. Lap 53, we got 7 laps to go for it.
States was right up against the north short chute wall. You couldn't put a piece of paper there to separate the wheel from the wall. He was there.
That's when Curtis here is going to start smelling that blood, but I want to get into that P2. I want to put some pressure and see how I can do, as he nearly brushes the wall through the turn 1 to short chute. It's not a short chute. But he wants to see what he can do with Dakota up there. And so Curtis is the driver. We only had like 5 cars in this race last week where the turbo drivers were figuring out who was going to get to run in it. But Curtis was the driver that ended up winning that race. And he did pass for that victory there. So he made it work. He knows what he has to do just from that little test race we did. As he was getting real loose out of that corner.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that car's a little happy.
Well, and they're 22 laps into that stint. Remember, we said that magic number is right around 20, where these cars they go from nice to wicked. So they're in that window now.
And here's where Dakota started to pull away. It was
caution.
We've got a caution. Let's see, who do we have? We've got
Teeter.
Let's see here.
Teeter.
Trying to find him on my thing here.
Yep. Turn 1.
Oh, okay, there he is. I see him.
So he just comes into turn 1. He's already high. Yeah, he's like, up, and smacks the wall, and then careens to the inside of into the short chute wall there, and brings it to just the
we're watching the replays through turn 1. Okay, he brushes the wall and hard hit, like you had said, and evasive action for I don't know who that was, but That was really close for somebody that came up on him. It was it looked like an Aero car. Was not Spates though.
So no, it's Cosgrove. It's in the other Aero car.
Okay. Yeah, so that was that was a moment for him. This life flashed before him, but he made it through it.
So I'm saying everyone's going to pit. Yeah,
Oh,
even those guys that are lowest on the lap count of this stint, I say everybody's coming in right now.
Here's what I'd do though, Gary. If I'm Donchak or like Watson, I stay out and I get that one lap let. You get that 1 point, and then I pit. So,
right, and they're not gonna lose anything really, because they're gonna go right back to the end of their queue, so to speak, which will be the last two cars on the lead lap. So we'll see. Watson is coming in.
It looks like
Donchak too.
Schlegel is going to be the one that's going to lead this lap here. Are we going to have... Is anybody going to get a lap back here? I think Bonini, he's 6 laps down, though. But he's going to stay out and try to get a lap back is what he's going to do here. And heck, he might be the lucky dog.
Yeah, he would be the lucky dog. So he's the first car multiple laps down. So he would get the lucky dog versus the way around. Curtis ran through his box, so that's going to cost him some time on pit road. Yep, he gets passed by Jasper. So Jasper up to P3 because Curtis kind of costly pit entrance.
I will see if I can get a replay of that. Yeah, he's dropped back a lot. Let's get back to this here.
And we got Lewis Woodall up into, when this all shakes out, he'll be up in the P4.
Well, he did a good impression of what I did over in the Lionheart race. Except that was during green flag. I think he was... Not only did he slide through his box, he was then also too close to the left side wall for his pit crew to change. Yeah, this is dropping him back literally 10 positions. That is killer for...
Yeah, and also keep in mind, I mean, the PM18 drivers in the Turbo Series really don't do pit stops in this capacity type thing. So Kim coming in and hitting the marks and that type of thing is... he's not as used to it as probably some of these other guys. Now, I think I don't know where else he runs IndyCar and what other leagues, but I know he primarily I see him in the PM18 rank.
Yeah,
so
that's what I noticed.
It's a different beast. So Schlegel is he's hitting pit road, so he got credit for that lap, and he'll just cycle to the back with Curtis, Donchak, and Cosgrove.
Well, let's go ahead and do another commercial here.
For generations, fans of IndyCar could only dream of stepping into the cockpit and feeling the rush of going wheel to wheel at over 200 miles per hour. Thanks to the latest in sim racing technology, we can get one step closer. Talented, fearless drivers battle it out in virtual race cars to claim supremacy at some of the world's most demanding tracks. This is the RIL, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, presented by Raceverse.
All right, this is the RIL Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. We are back here. We are lap 58 of 120, so with a little bit of fuel saving, we should be one pit stop. But this could be tricky for Dakota here because he's going to have to go, we're going to have 61 laps to the end. And for him, it's going to be easy to make 30-30, but not 30-31. So we've got Spates and P2. Jasper is moving back into P3 after Curtis had that pit stop issue. We've got Woodall in 4th and Simkowski moving up to 5th now. Dakota's going to bring us down.
Bates is not letting Dakota get away. He's right up under the gearbox. Both
There
of
was
those
a
guys
big
got
gap
good.
to Jasper, though.
Yeah. Oh, Woodall underneath Jasper going into 2.
Oh boy.
And he pulls it off. Wow. Now Lewis Woodall up 17 spots. Hayden Herman up 18. Donchak up 16. So, I mean, a lot of that has to do with that first lap wreck.
That's right, yep.
You still have to be running and racing the car to get credit for that, for those positions gained. So keep it up, fellas.
Spates right on Dakota here. 3/10 back. Seeing if he can make anything move here.
Well, Dakota's in fuel save, or is trying to fuel save, because he's in 6th gear all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
In
tough.
fact, I think he's even telling Spates at this point, "Come get me."
It's tough to fuel save from first position.
Yeah, there's only so many things you could do. I mean, turn down the engine map, run 6th gear. But you know, right now he's just telling Spates, "Come get me," and Spates might just be behind him, going, "You know what? Math is going to work out in my favor. If you're going to have to go that extra lap, I'm going to make you run for it." Because Spates is doing really. I'm watching Spates behind, and he is in 5th gear, shifting up to 6th in the straights, and he's really doing nothing to try to save fuel. I don't know what engine map he's at, but he's doing really nothing. I would say is fuel conservation type signs.
Jasper's in P4 looking like he wants to get back around Woodall here. Has a pretty good run on him this lap. We'll see what he can do. Spates also had a pretty good run too, but going back to what we were saying about Curtis earlier, he being in that 3rd spot, that's the tough position here, so Woodall will be experiencing that right now.
Yeah, Woodall is also in 6th gear, so and he's lifting going into the corners, so he's, I guess, trying to make the math work for him. He's also kind of gaining on Spates a little bit.
Yeah, I see that. Just like visually, I can see that. Curtis has moved up a couple spots since the restart. He's up to P11. He's going to be wanting to make a move here. He knows he has a good car. He's going to want to make a comeback from that mistake he made in the pit lane. And he has a chance to do it now. Are we to the witching hour yet, Gary?
I'll tell you what, Spates drafted right up on Dakota, and he was right on the gearbox at the entrance of 1. So I don't know if he sized him up or actually Dakota's playing manage the gap.
If I was Dakota, here's what I'd do, though. We know Dakota, by the lap 20 of a stint, was gapping out about 1.5 seconds. I would just run hard until that point, and then I would drop my fuel map down, a little bit there, and save fuel from there. And also hope for a caution. Hayden Herman has moved up to 7th as Holler, really aggressive with his block there into turn 3. I don't know if it was an illegal block or anything, but it was a block. You know, there's blocks that are not illegal blocks, but a bit aggressive there. Is that Spates? Into the lead is Spates. I don't know if Dakota let him go or what, or like as you were mentioning, that fuel saving, but let's get a replay of that move that Spates did for the lead there. Sizes him up on the front straightaway into turn one they go. And that was easy. I think it's back to what Gary was saying. Dakota wants to save that fuel. Guess he's confident. He also might be driving for points here. He's going to come away really good with points here. Looks like Gary having a little bit of technical issues, so I'm on my own out here for a moment. We'll get him back momentarily. His computer was not a fan, apparently, of Spates taking over the lead from Dakota there. Jasper in P4. So let's just go through the field here. We've got Spates in P1. New leader here as of a few laps ago. Dakota DeMay led everything up until that point in P2. We've had some other leaders through cycling and pit stop. Lewis Woodall in P3. Christian Jasper in P4. Simkowski had a podium finish at, I believe it was Homestead earlier this season. In P5, Michael Holler in P6. Hayden Herman running a great P7. Jacob Odell in 8th. Lucas Santos in 8th or 9th. James Curtis has moved up another spot into 10th. Watson there in 11th. John Cosgrove, PL 12. Hans Schlegel maybe. Correction if you message me. Pete Donchek there in P14. He almost went a lap down. He did go a lap down. He got a lucky dog early in the race, and so he's still running on the lead lap. He's got a Benini who's 5 laps down in P15, and Teeter, who brought out a caution earlier in the race, still running around here, slightly off the pace in P16. So that is all of our cars running out here tonight. What is left after 31 cars started here today? I bet there's going to be a lot of discussion in the Discord channel here. So once Dakota here has saved enough fuel, well, I have to wonder if he's going to go back on attack here. Really wouldn't take much of fuel saving to get to what he was looking for. But this would be his first experience running in the traffic here tonight. Something that everybody else out here, Spates, Woodall, and the entire field has been coping with this different setup that they're running this week. Simkowski running the Elio Castroneves livery from his 4-time win this year. Everybody's just basically between a half a second of one another. Hayden Herman there in P7. Let's have a look at best laps out here. Let's see. We've got, you can see Spates, well actually Woodall currently the purple lap at a 220 mile an hour. That isn't his last lap. That is just over the entire race. That was his fastest lap. It was actually that lap, Gary, several, like, I don't know, probably 40 laps ago called it out, probably about lap 30 or so. Light fuel after a near brush with the wall. Let's go on board with Dakota, see what he's handling and dealing with out here. Sunset Arctic Games car. Just keeping in that draft, saving fuel. Looks like we had a change of position there as Jasper having an issue, it looks like here. Let's get a replay if we can. Jasper on pit lane. Tough break for Jasper here. He's having a great race so far. It was in that podium position, or in that 4th position. This is really early for Jasper. This seems... I didn't see anything happen to him. It must have been earlier than that. Because, yeah, he's on the pit lane for a while there. Heading back to live pictures, he is still on pit lane. Oof, that is a tough break for Christian Jasper. That puts Simkowski in the 4th position. Everybody moves up. I noticed that because I suddenly saw Hayden Herman in 6th as James Curtis moving. Oh, did he just brush the wall there? Let me get a replay of that. Jasper coming out of the pits right there. Let's go on board with, it was really close if he didn't. Oh, he didn't hit it, but it was really close, like I said. Excellent driving by James Curtis there. James Curtis in P7, setting his sights on Hayden Herman. You can see he's running a little bit higher line in those corners versus Hayden there. Hayden down near that white line. Kind of the traditional line that you'd see in real life they run. You don't usually see them run that high line like you're seeing Curtis run. If you did that in real life, there'd be marbles up there, tire marbles, and the track surface would get really slick, and that driver would just go right into the wall at that moment. You might see it on the first lap of the race, but not nearly thereafter. "12 cars on the lead lap here. Andrew Spates is our leader. This will be coming down to 40 laps to go when he crosses the start-finish line. Dakota DeMay there in P2, about 3/4 of a second back from there. And that will be lap 80, 2/3 of the race complete, 200 miles done here tonight. And the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the greatest race course in the world, bar none. Let nobody else tell you anything different. Simkowski is catching Woodall there. Woodall is about 2.5 seconds back from Dakota. Let's go on board with Simkowski here. This will be for the final podium position. They might not do podiums in the real life Indianapolis 500. All the glory goes to the leader, to the winner, but we do it here in the sim racing world. As I saw those leaders coming up to some lap traffic up there. That is, who is in the middle there? That is Bonini, I believe. No, Teeter. That is Teeter in the middle there. Teeter goes wide, letting Dakota go.
I tell you what, if they celebrated podiums at the Speedway as much as they celebrate the wins.
You heard me talking about that?
Yeah, Foyt and Sneva and not so much Mears. He didn't have very many podium finishes. I think he had a third and a second for sure, but then he had the 4 wins. But, I mean, Foyt had a bunch of second and third place finishes. Sneva was known for the second place finish. Castro Neves, of course, had.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
He had 2 second place finishes. If they made those count, Mario would be a lot more famous too as well.
Yeah.
If they made those count, then some of these records that some of these drivers have will sound much more impressive than just 4 wins. 4 wins in itself is pretty impressive, but when you can count on top of that, 4 wins and 5 second place finishes and 2 third place finishes, you're like, wow, the guy's always at the front.
Yeah. So Herman, I think that Holler had a big moment, and Herman got around him for that 5th spot. The other kind of thing we've been following, Gary, while you had your technical difficulties there, is Lewis Woodall's dropped back. So Spates is in the lead. Dakota, I don't know, let him pass or what, but he's been leading for the better part of the last, 15 to 20 laps. But Woodall is dropping back, and Simkowski is right there for that podium. So he's probably going to go for it. Dakota, we had a lap traffic as well, and Dakota's actually dropped back 2 seconds from Spates. So everybody's trying to get to lap 90 at this point.
There's just everyone's trying to smack the turn 1 wall as well.
Yeah, I think
that Holler and Curtis about mirrored each other going into the turn 1 wall almost.
I don't know if you can check, but I wouldn't be surprised if the track temperatures are at the highest moment they're going to be right now.
128. Track temp is 128. Ambient is still 79.
Okay. I think that's pretty still cooking it. It's not as bad as that fixed race that we all did, but...
Oh, God.
But Dakota's dropped... his last lap was a 42 seconds, so I don't know what happened to him. Whether this is a brush with the wall or what, but he's significantly down on speed. Lewis Woodall also in the 42 seconds, but Spates is just going for it. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. If he's got a pit at lap, 88 or 89 though, and Dakota can get to 90, that's almost game over there.
Yeah, these next 5 laps is pretty critical. Oh, there was another close call by Holler in the North Chute.
Ooh, there's Odell trying to.
Odell's going to get around him. That cost him a bunch of momentum.
And Curtis has been making his way through the field as well. They're getting around. I think that's Bonini. Or is it Teeter?
Teeter. Yeah, Teeter's way up there.
He's been good, keeping it up there, out of the way, but still, yeah, that looks a little scary when you see that. He looks like he brushed the wall on the backstretch there, just trying to stay out of the way. Dakota's dropping back huge right now. He's 5 seconds back.
He might be trying to make that fuel number.
Yeah, I don't think this is... I thought for a moment he might have just brushed the wall or something, but everybody behind him is also doing the same thing where they're running 42s and 43s, whereas Spates way up there, he's just going for it. He's praying for that yellow near the end where he only has to... he might pit early here. Maybe he gets that late yellow.
I'm on board with Dakota, and he's riding around in 5th gear, so... Unless he has the engine map turned way down. He's not flat out in 5th gear, because normally when you're flat out in 5th gear,
Spates is in the pits.
You'll see the LEDs go blue, and he's not going blue.
I bet he's in field mode 5 or something, and
yeah, so
in 5th gear.
Spates is not going to be able to make it unless there's some help.
That's right. Well, this is some interesting fuel strategy there, Gary. We were talking about how it's going to be a straight shoot 30, 60, 90, but with a little bit of caution thrown in there right at the interesting times, we've got some fuel strategy coming into this one. Can Dakota make it, or Woodall for any of these guys in that top 5 position? Can they make it to lap 90? And once they make the lap 90, they're gold to the end of this race.
Woodall is definitely saving behind him. He's in 6th, and you can hear the revs are very.
And
caution,
we just had a caution.
Caution.
I have no idea who this is going to help.
I don't know who it was.
Herman just hit the pit lane. I don't know if the caution came out before he crossed, as Curtis did as well. I wonder if these guys are getting I hate that. You might get a penalty for doing this. And they're done that.
Well, it's not going to hurt Spates, really, because he just stopped. So he's just going to go right to the front.
Yeah, Spates will have kept his... He's kept his lead lap. So Spates is going to inherit the lead, and he should be good on fuel because of this.
It'll be close, but it's, for sure. Yeah. I would be clutching it a lot on this caution.
Hopefully he knows about fuel mode 8.
Yeah, just so people at home, when we talk about fuel modes or engine modes, it's just different mappings. You can allow the engine to consume different amounts of fuel. So I guess you want to say full power, full rich is engine map 1, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is the lowest one. And then there's an additional lower one, which we call 8, and that's typically your caution map. So anytime you go to caution, you immediately go to engine map 8, and that's for maximum fuel save while under caution.
That's right.
There's 2 other additional engine maps, but they're mainly for road course and having to do with rear wheel spin that you don't typically see them use on the ovals very often, unless it's maybe a short oval. But it'll be engine maps 1 through 5 are pretty much the ones they use exclusively on ovals. So here's Dakota. He is in the box, spot on.
I see Curtis, because Curtis had pit and Herman had pit, right? This is interesting. Odell as well. So I don't think they got penalized or anything. I think they all pitted perfectly. And this is going to put Dakota back in 5th. Wow. This is really interesting here, folks. But that's what we're going to be set up with. Let me go to our final, hopefully, commercial break of the night. And as I see, I think some of those cars are going to have to go to the tail end of the line. They did have a penalty. We'll see here when we get back.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Okay, we are back here. So we had some cars that appeared to be penalized for into the longest line. That was Curtis and Herman and Odell. I mean, it's just unfortunate for them. The way you can see it on the screen right now, when the caution comes out, you see those cones at the right of the screen. That's where the pit lane entrance is, and you're committed at that point, even though you're not in the pit lane, and then you can't get out of it. And so they were making their stops, and the caution came out, and then they were penalized because of it. So this puts Dakota into P2. Andrew Spates going to be our leader here. Simkowski in P3. I think through that pit stop, gets around Woodall. Santos in P5. So I think while you had your technical difficulties there, Gary, also Jasper had some, I'm not 100% sure what happened to him, but all of a sudden he was like pitting at lap 75, and I think that he had brushed the wall and he was running in P4 at the time, so really tough break for Jasper there. He was heading for a great finish.
Yeah, I'm about to say, looking at a great finish, I mean, this race could have gone easily the other direction when you consider half the field bend itself going into turn one on lap one. Now that we got, we're actually going to have a bit of a sprint here for the win. We're going to have some folks that we haven't necessarily seen at the front all year going to be there. But then again, you're also going to have the current points leader that's going to be at the front. So he's got to play this smart. There are, 11 cars on the lead lap.
Yep.
So, even if he gets into trouble, I mean, he could still go back a little bit and still rescue a pretty decent day. But you got some people here that are going to look for their first win. And hey, man, it's Indianapolis. And just like Al Jr. said, you don't know what Indy means.
That's right. Pace car lights are out. We're going back to green this time. Simkowski, by the way, finished, I believe it was at Homestead, or did we run Homestead? But anyway, first race of the season, first oval, he was on the podium, so he's getting good at these ovals. Green flag. Going to be 28 laps to go here. This is going to be full rich, full burn for everybody here.
Yeah, everybody should be good to go on fuel. Now, how bad do you destroy your tires?
That's right, yep. I think Dakota's got a really good run here.
Yeah, and we're cautioned again. We're cautioned again, and Dakota's not going to be able to.
Yeah, we got a car. That might have been Holler. Oh, no, we got Curtis up there as well. Let's see what happened here.
Oh,
I'm looking at that.
Daredevil driver.
Yep. We had a lapped car in there. Oh, we had some contact with Hayden Herman as well. Hayden looks okay. No, that doesn't look okay. His front left is
I
wobbling
think he kind of Hayden didn't expect him there, and they both kind of I think they both kind of surprised each other.
Yeah, I'm getting another replay on board with Hayden here. Yeah, Hayden went to the high side and just some contact there.
That's a pretty typical restart type contact thing where you get a run on somebody and then you both kind of surprise each other when you're like, oh, I'm there a lot faster than I thought I would be, and then here comes that contact.
I have to imagine Dakota is a little bit all man right now because I think he saw that he was probably going to have a really great run into turn 3.
Yeah, but I don't think, and I don't know why Spates is running such a high line under caution right now. Maybe he wants to burn off that extra.
Maybe he wants to, yeah.
If he equals that restart again, he should be able to pull up on the back tail of Spates at the end of the backstretch and pull that pass off again.
Well, what I'm thinking is that Spates knows what Dakota's going to be doing this time now.
Yeah.
So he'll know what to watch for. But with these cars, we see it sometimes. On the restarts, even the real life races, is that that leader can be a sitting duck at times. And I think we're going to get into a point here where the temperatures are going to be starting to cool down here, and we might be able to see some swaps back and forth with that with the lead here. We'll see what happens though.
Track tip still 127, 79 ambient. Wind is still 2 miles per hour, so it's virtually no wind impacting these guys right now.
But I think the temperatures have peaked for the day, at least in that regard.
If I look and see what sim time is,
like 2:30 probably.
Sim time is about 20 till 3.
Okay.
Or 20 till 3.
Okay, well, yeah, that would be, at least based on my simulations in the past, that would be past the peak of the day, so it should be coming down now. It really gets significant past 3 o'clock here in the sim. Because everybody runs, like, you can actually choose different dates. So sun time could be different, but everybody chooses the default of like May 15th by default, which happens to be work out really great for Indianapolis.
So now we have, I think, just 9 cars on the lead lap.
I think that Hayden's going to be able to keep going here. Lights are still on the pace car, so let me double check what Hayden's doing. Yeah, he's coming back out, and I don't think he's going to lose a lap either.
Okay, so we got 10 cars on the lead lap. And virtually there's virtually no lap traffic in the way out there. Right
yeah. We had Teeter and Bonini. Looks like Holler is 4 laps down now. Curtis is back out there. He's a lap down. Yeah, tough break for Curtis. He had a heck of a car here this race, and well, sometimes racing happens.
Yeah, he has nothing to hold his head on. I mean, he
Yep.
was up there running the P3 for pretty much most of the day.
Yeah. And even when he dropped back, he had that pit shenanigans went on, and he got back up there. So, good on him. Heck of a drive today.
All right, so lights should be
They're
out.
out, yeah.
So we got one to green. We're definitely going to have some guys at the front there with very itchy feet that want to get the power down as soon as possible.
I wonder what thinking just back to another thought, before we go to green. I wonder what these drivers are thinking about this 4-lap qualifying thing, since we only had like 12 of the 31 cars actually complete one. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting discussion point tonight. I told Dakota, and I told Caleb and other drivers to definitely practice this setup after I had tried it last week. Coming back to green here.
It's almost that you should have just taken whatever time you could have got. Just do 4 clean laps. Doesn't have to be 4 fast laps, but just just complete your run and take time.
Green flag. Pretty good run by the Spates there. On the restart.
Yeah, I don't think Dakota's quite close enough. He is now.
Yeah, I'm
he's
going to
get
go on
that.
board with Dakota.
Here he goes. He's going to get that run down the backstretch, and Spates is doing nothing to defend. Here he is on the outside. He's got the position side by side going into 3.
Woodall is also making a move on Simkowski.
Simkowski.
So Dakota back into the lead here.
Now we start the weave, and now I say the weave is justified.
That is right, yep. Woodall gets around Simkowski there for P3. I don't think that battle's finished either.
Yeah, I didn't think Dakota was going to have much of an issue getting on that restart and getting that position back. You know when you have a good car on restarts, especially going through turns 1 and 2, and especially if you have your car dialed in to handle that looseness while you're coming up to speed, while other guys aren't so used to it. Or not dialed in, you will get that advantage that Dakota just had. So I'm sure that's an experience thing that Dakota has by running thousands and thousands and thousands of race laps here at Indianapolis in this sim.
He literally ran maybe not quite 800 laps in May. There were 4 fixed setup 500-mile races. He competed in all 4 of them. He maybe not did all the laps and all of them, but at least like 2 of them I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did everything but
2 laps maybe? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Whoa! Wow! All 2 of them, Dakota and Spates, high exit off of 4, about smacked the wall.
Simkowski's kind of dropped back from Woodall, so Woodall's trying to get up here into this battle for the lead here between Spates and Dakota. Christian came into the chat and just said that he had a little bit tool adjustment caught him out, and he caught the wall and had a meatball repair on that.
Look at the high line right there from Woodall going through 4, and look how much room and distance that he made up between himself and Spates. Again, look at Woodall again. Well, that about cost him that time.
Yeah, you don't want to go and hit the wall up there either.
I will say that the high line, running someone down, is the way to go, and you're about a 10th a lap, like I said, about a 10th a lap quicker. But the thing is, if you're not paying attention, remember, when you're running the high line, that exit comes up to you a lot quicker.
Yes,
and
it does.
Often you could take yourself out. I've often tried to tell my teammates and drivers that have driven for me that if you drive the high line, if the guy behind you starts to mimic you, use that to your advantage, because you're used to driving the high line where the guy behind you might not, and you might be able to lure that guy into smacking the wall. And by the way, we're in the caution right now, so someone just did smack the wall, I think.
I was also going to mention we had just completed lap 100, but this is now lap 101. So, who do we have here?
Throwing Curtis back in the pit.
Yeah, I think that's what happened here. Let's see what we've got here. Out of turn 4, loops it coming out of turn 4. Almost kept it off the wall, but a little bit of contact with that inside not attenuator, but that inside barrier off of turn 4.
Yeah, that's just a damaged car, lazy spin.
Yeah.
You kind of ran out of weight, Jacker, and not much you can do. Just hang on.
Well, we're going to get another restart here, and this time we're going to see what Spates can do down that back straightaway.
I got to tell you, I'm not so much concerned about Spates. We know from racing Lewis Woodall and other leagues that he tends to lack patience sometimes, and that's something hopefully he'll learn when he drives for me in Vor. But he tends to lack patience sometimes. He might just full send it here, knowing that we're getting a little late into the day, and the opportunities are getting fewer and fewer.
Well, for Lewis' sake, there's not many times you're going to be running third at Indianapolis on a restart that's going to come down to probably like 16 laps to go. So all patience, I think, should go out the door, especially when you know that there's like only 10 cars on the lead lap. This is go time for everybody. Points are out the window. I was going to mention Hayden Herman looks to be A-OK after that restart, even though he had that little bit of damage. Looks like Odell getting some fresh tires. Polar as well, though he's 4 laps down. But Odell, the only lead lap car coming down to get those fresh tires. Lights still on the pace car. I'm gonna go do our sponsors pay the bills. We'll give them a little bit extra
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back here.
The RIL Schaeffer's IndyCar Series is brought to you by Schaeffer's Oil. Do you know your Schaeffer? Raceverse, the broadcast provider ready for you. And iRacing, the newest form of competitive motorsport.
All right, we are back.
There you go. I'll give a shout out to the guys at Daredevil Brewery for thanking them for signing on, being the title sponsor for the Turbo Series. And of course, if you ever hit Indianapolis and you're near the Speedway, check out the Daredevil, their tap room. The brewery tap room is right across the street from AJ Foyt Racing's shops here, right off of 16th and Georgetown.
Is AJ Foyt, I'm trying to remember. So I think they have 2 shops, or have they gone down to, do they still have the shop over in Texas and then they also have one here?
The main shop is here because if you're going to be a competitive IndyCar team, you got to be where all the other IndyCar teams are. For a while, he was able to get away with having a shop in Houston, and that eventually, just after a while, old man habits die hard, especially when the son starts coming in and saying, maybe we should be a little bit closer to the track than having to, spend the money on a hauler and everything to drive up there and to all these races. So, that's their new headquarters. Pretty much is right there on Main Street there in Speedway.
Well, they've seen, I think they've had some good progress this year, because you see it kind of come and go with that team over the years. Like, Sato had a win at Long Beach for them, but not too many other results to talk about. They've gone through some lean years, but I think with Bourdais back, they've had some progress in their whole
Well, I mean, that has to do with a very good driver.
That's right, yeah.
That despite his age, still has many, many miles left in him.
Well, we're about to go back to green. We're going to have 15 laps to go here. We're going to see what Spates can do. We're going to see what Woodall can do, or anybody else for that matter. We got about 10 guys looking to win this one, Indianapolis 300.
Bates is right there. He did not let him get away, and neither did Woodall. So the top 3 are pretty close together, and they're going to start shrinking that deficit up as they start going down the backstretch here. Yeah. Woodall going high through one, trying to maintain that momentum. All 3 of them are right there, though, going down the backstretch.
I think Woodall might actually have a run on Spates there. Looking inside. Into turn 3 they go. Woodall inside of Spates.
Well, this is definitely what Dakota wants to see behind him. Mm-hmm. Of course, you see that higher line. Spates was able to defend and maintain the momentum, and was able to keep Woodall behind him. But Dakota's definitely liking this, that if he can get second and third place, start racing each other, he can slowly slink away.
Simkowski lurking back and forth as well. As you mentioned, James Watson also having a really good run here tonight.
Yeah, if he can't start making up some position. Oh, look at Woodall. He's right underneath the tail of Spates again. If Watson can't make up any positions, it looks like Santos is slowly starting to work away from him. He should probably just start thinking about defending what he has for 6 and think about maximizing his points for this event, because he is in second place in the points. Spates high going into turn 1 around Dakota. And is he going to pull a Mears? He does pull a Mears. Wow! He pulls off the Mears. Or the Andretti. Andretti did it first, but it's no. Look at Woodall. Woodall's going low
also looking inside.
Okay, Dakota does not want to see this. Okay, he's able to hold him off. As a result, he has a high line going through the north side of the track, and he's able to probably get a bit of a run on Spates. So we might have another shot here at the shot for the lead here.
Yeah, I think we're getting into slingshot land here. Got Dakota going inside, but we'll see what Spates can do on the outside. Really low in that corner, and Dakota goes back into the lead. He was really, really low. Like as low as you could go was Dakota there in turn 1. I would think these drivers are going to say, I want the high line.
mean, not a lot of people know about the Highline until they get up there and they start trying it. And they're like, oh, because everything around Indianapolis, you're taught, don't go high, don't go high, don't go high. You want to stay right down at the bottom. That's where the fastest line around is. That's where everyone races
side by side
but,
they go.
But the Highline here is like I said, it's open for business. And once people find it, they find themselves as satisfied customers for the most part.
Dakota's so low in that turn 1 corner. He's almost hitting that gray, whatever, concrete patch there.
Woodall sending it all the way through 2 as best he can. Got fished, a little fishy tail, and now it's starting to get back in the clutches of Simkowski. So we're looking now at pretty much a 2-car battle. Actually, Simkowski, Santos, and Watts are, let's see, go back to there. Simkowski and Santos are starting to get a pretty close battle on the racetrack, too. That's starting to shrink up.
Battle for the lead continues. Yeah, that was close.
Okay, clear.
Spates takes over the lead momentarily here.
Yeah.
I kind of foreshadowed this here, where I think we were going to get into slingshot world here with the track temp coming down.
Well, it's 125.
That's you said 128 early on, and then 127, so it's coming down. It makes that 3 degrees makes a huge difference.
I saw a little bit of a twitch come out of Dakota there in turn 4.
Well, these drivers are going to be burning these tires up too. Spates looks inside into turn 1. You could definitely see Spates does not go anywhere near the bottom, that apron of the track that Dakota was going when he was making some passes.
Oh, now he's defending. But
inside.
he kind of weaved himself out of a position there.
Yeah, it was really late on that snake move there, and Dakota takes back the lead. We will see what Spates can come back with.
I don't think the Spates is close this time to get that.
Woodall's got his car back straight, and he's kind of lurking back there once again.
Yeah,
he dropped back a lot.
I think we're going to see Spates at the end of the backstretch get a run on Dakota. We'll see here. No, Dakota's got too much of a cushion, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, the tires might be starting to go down. They're starting to wear a little bit, and these guys battling for that lead with Spates and Dakota there, they might just need to cool their tires down a little bit and keep it.
Time's running out.
Yeah. A single file through turn 1 they go.
I look at P2 and P3 going in the high line. And they're making up. You could see that physically making up room there. And making up that space.
We go on board with Woodall.
And no one's matched Woodall on that purple lap except early in the race. He's still a 40.919.
They should be able to do it right now, though. Like, really, with the track temperature coming down, they should be faster. But that's a lot of lap to go. Woodall has it run almost in the short chute. Oh, he gets really high. He gets back out of it.
Well, he got so close there in the short chute, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And it's one of those places that he caught him at the worst possible place on the racetrack.
He did. Has to reset everything for Lewis Woodall there in P3. Yeah, I thought Lewis was going to run into the back of Spates there, and then I thought Lewis was going to brush the turn 2 wall as Santos and Simkowski battling for 4th position.
Yeah, just to show you how much that cost Woodall. That time by Spates a 41.5, Woodall a 42 flat. That was very costly.
But like you said earlier, Dakota's happy when he sees those two battling.
And Woodall getting a bit of building up steam there on the high side again.
with that lap.
I think we're running out of time, though.
5 laps to go with that lap.
Oh, I don't know. Spates made up a lot of room that time.
Ooh, I saw Lewis. He's like just flirting with that wall. Every corner of every lap, just about, it seems. He's trying to go for P2.
And he's going to do it on the high side.
Yeah, on the high side he goes. This is not what Dakota wants to see now. Excellent run by Lewis Woodall, regardless of what happens here on out.
All right, now look on the line through with Dakota through 2. He went up to the high side.
Yep.
So he has now adjusted his line to match that of what Lewis is. Lewis is a full car above the black groove that you see in the corners there. He's a full car width above that. See? Right there.
Yep. Some tactics coming here. Herman into the wall, I believe, but no caution. I saw him drop back to 10th position. It's going to move Watson. Well, no, Watson was P6, but Schlegel in P7.
We're running out of time.
Yes, we are, with 2 laps to go at the line here. Dakota DeMade in the lead. Lewis Woodall lurking back about 0.4 of a second behind. Dakota's just working his tools right, I think. I think he hasn't used quite as much tire as these other guys having to battle one another through this run.
Yeah, I don't think, and unless Dakota
has a moment
up one of these corners, I don't think Lewis is going to get there. We'll see. We're going. Here we go.
White flag, final lap through the South Short chute, through turn 2. They go for one final time.
Right there in front of the old suites.
Those old suites got a new paint job several times in the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think one more turn we have to go. Dakota DeMade is going to be victorious at Indianapolis.
And that's a double win for him on the championship front and a big crown jewel win on a personal front.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really big one for Dakota here. We've got Woodall in P2 and Andrew Spates coming home in P3. Spates having led. Dakota leading the most laps, but Spates led quite a few of them too.
Yeah, Lewis Woodall not only had the purple lap for the race, but improved 18 positions to get to that spot where he finished right there.
Yeah,
so,
big day. Got a great run by Lewis.
Big day, yeah.
Well, I know you don't like it, Gary, but I think we might be seeing some donuts.
Cool if you could we could animate our characters so they can get out of the cockpit and then go climb the fence or something.
Well, I can tell you that Dakota will be saving the replay on this one. Oh, there he gets it into the barrier.
He's going to cut it off right before there.
Yeah. Sunset Arctic car. Voltic pistol and Echo Blade available. Well, not Echo Blade on Steam, but Voltic pistol available on Steam now. We'll be talking to Dakota momentarily.
Yeah, that's his homage paint job to Tom Sneva's Texaco Star from 82, 83, 84 when he drove that there in Indianapolis. One of which was to a win in 83. So the Texaco Star livery wins again.
Well, we'll be right back, and we will get our winner and our podium interviews going here. All right, we are back. Let's see if we can get Dakota up here in the booth. Hey, Dakota. This is Matt and Gary up in the booth. Congratulations, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure you're very happy right now. This might be, I don't know if it is, but, probably one of your biggest wins of your sim racing career.
Absolutely.
Might be a little emotional out there. You got the pole, you led the most laps, and you took victory. It looked like it might be difficult at one point in time when that caution came out. I wasn't sure how everything was going to cycle through.
Yeah, I was a bit worried there on who was going to be in front of me, but I guess the others, Hayden and Jacob, just missed pit entry a little bit, and then yeah, it was a good battle with Spates at the end there. I was able to get the lead from him, and then try to just give him as much dirty air as possible, and then I saw him and Lewis start to get into it a bit. So yeah, that was a fun battle out there.
Back to the start of the race, as the championship leader, what were your thoughts when you saw this gigantic pileup in turn one, lap one?
I haven't gotten the chance to watch it yet, but I was in a Discord with Caleb and Hayden and Jacob, and okay, well, it was a short race for Caleb, so
yeah,
that's unfortunate. I was looking forward to a good battle, but yeah, I was able to take the win today, so I can't take that for granted,
Well, you're going to. This is like a great day. Like, not only is this the biggest win, this is the biggest race on the calendar in the Schaeffer's IndyCar series here, but you're going to take a big chunk of points from this one, and you're going to be more in the lead than you have been at any time so far. So this is a big one for you.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. This really eases my anxiety a little bit for the rest of the season. So I can just string together a couple more good results, try to expand the points lead, and then hopefully I can cruise. But, it's never that easy. Any race, something could happen, like what happened to Caleb and Shane there too. So.
Yeah. Well, this is a great day for your championship and a great day to win here. You got the donuts on the yard of bricks. Hey, any thoughts?
Made sure not to touch the bricks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't touch the bricks. Any thoughts you have, Gary, before we let Dakota celebrate some more?
Well, it was a good points day. You didn't earn too much on P2, but you pretty much made distance on just about everybody else, because Watson actually had a top 10 finish out of all that melee that occurred in that entire race long. Your thoughts going next week to Dover, which could 1 second can lead to calamity there.
Yeah, Dover qualifying. Well, it's heat racing too, so qualifying is going to be important. Getting a good heat finish is also going to be important, and just trying to stay out in front and away from traffic, and just hope that the lap cars don't get into it as well as you're catching up to them. So it's going to be a gamble. It's going to be a crapshoot. So I'm happy I was able to extend the points lead today, and just
right.
Maybe Dover can be my drop week.
Are you happier though that we're not going to Bristol next week? Originally, we were going to Bristol.
Sometimes I tend to lie on Team Chaos, so yeah, I think Dover will put on a good show. Bristol would just be pure mayhem, and each of them have their pros and cons.
Yeah.
Gary,
Well,
what do you think? I finally won in the Sneva paint.
I made mention of that right before you came into the booth.
Oh yes.
the Gas Man P1,
Yeah.
pole and then the win, leading the most
Now,
laps too. So
do you retire it?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. All
It's
right.
finally giving me good luck.
I think you've had some pretty good finishes with this paint previously, but not the top step. So I think it's got more room to run.
Yep. Yeah, I'll keep running it.
Hey, any shout outs? So we were talking about your great victory here, but shout outs, sponsors, things like that.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb, he's a great teammate, and Jacob, Hayden. They were great guys tonight. Shout out to Alyssa, I know she's watching right now. Shout out to Sunset Arctic Games at Sunset Arctic on Twitter. I got Voltic Pistol on sale right now for the next 14 hours, and then Echo Blade coming out sometime around November as a full release. So excited to bring that to you guys. You can catch those products on Steam, and that's all from me.
Sounds good. Well, enjoy this one, and we'll see you soon.
Now you have to do the milk. You have to get the milk, and you have to take you have to take a picture or video, but you got to do it.
I got something planned.
Okay. All right.
I got a big thing planned.
Okay.
Is he gonna get chocolate milk or whole milk?
I was gonna get 2%.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
That works.
Okay.
But if you're really hardcore, you get buttermilk.
Milk. Okay.
That's what Ed Carpenter picks. Like, obviously he hasn't done that, but they list everybody's choice of milk before the race, and he does buttermilk. Somebody else does it. I don't remember who, but if you're really hardcore, you can get like one of those small ones.
That's what Louis. That's what Louis.
Should I go get orange juice?
No, don't be sacrilegious. But because the racing gods got even with him when he didn't qualify a couple years later. But Louis Meyer was the one that did the buttermilk for the very first time. It's kind of an odd combination, but this year I think was the first time with chocolate milk, and Juan Montoya actually picked that one.
Mm-hmm.
But good old, there's nothing wrong with good old 2%. Take it, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just you got to have milk, and you got to have a picture or a video with you doing it.
Yep, it's coming.
All right, there you
sounds
good, Dakota. We'll keep an eye out for that one.
All right, see you guys. Have a good night.
Yep. All right, well, we'll bring up Lewis here. Hey, Lewis, this is Matt and Gary up in the booth. Heck of a run today, coming from starting P20, and you finished second. So, heck of a race. Talking about it the whole time, like Lewis is, he's going to go for it, and you did. Tell us about your race, though.
Yeah, I don't want to make excuses for why I didn't win, but I did hit the wall. But I say that all I had to do was move the rear. You actually saw it on one of the restarts. I got loose because I forgot to change the roll bar. All I had to do was change the roll bar and it drove like normal. So yeah, Dakota was just faster than me. I had nothing for him. Maybe if I'd have got past Spates on that first restart, when I was on his inside, I might have had something for Dakota, but I used my tires up and he was just faster than me.
Hey, you had, in this entire race, you had the fastest lap, just FYI. So you were the fastest car out there, at least at one point in time. You did a 40.919. Let's get the mile per hour. What is that?
Yeah, it's because I was doing my super ultra high line technique.
Yeah, you were of everybody out there, you were making that work, and that's a 220.855 mile per hour lap. But you were making that work like it was the best. You were the best car out there making that high line work.
You need to make that high line work on this version of Indy, because most people get the error wash taking the normal line, and you just sweep around the outside. I got a couple of people doing that.
Yeah, you were moving, but yeah, with the new tire model in this Indianapolis, that seems to be something. And you seemed able to risk, like, not everybody wants to risk that high line as much as you did, but you did it. So congrats to you. P2 is a great finish here. Any thoughts for you, Gary?
Yeah. How far removed were you from that melee in turn 1, lap 1?
I was in the middle of it.
All
I
right.
was
So from your point
right
of view, explain.
bang.
Tell us everything you saw.
So I saw some smoke on the inside. That's all I saw. And then I saw some cars wreck on the inside, and then they moved right in front of my nose to the high side. And then I looked in my mirror, and the cars that were on the inside when I'd passed literally swapped behind my rear wing. So like Moses in the Red Sea. I had no clue how I got through that. But I heard you talking on the broadcast about milk, and it's rather embarrassing because it's rather early, so I'm in my dressing gown. Maybe I'd have made a cup of tea. Maybe I'd have made a cup of tea and made milk with it.
The very British way to have your tea.
Yeah.
Right.
But not that iced tea crap you Americans drink.
Yes, we do.
But you do know what this means. It means you have to unban my livery and put the NASCAR livery back on it.
I think that I might have to. Yeah.
No,
I have seen that on some of the broadcasts.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Well, pick another livery that isn't so get sacrilegious that livery at.
I think. I don't know. I think Gary might have me run his livery when I join VOR.
Yeah, I've heard whispers of such things. So, well, either way, heck of a run here tonight.
Yeah,
hey,
good finish.
any shout outs? Sponsors. You mentioned Gary and VOR already, but any shout outs? Anybody watching?
Probably not this time. Shout out to the England football team for beating Denmark 2-1. Let's go.
Well, that's a good one. But yeah, you take care, Lewis, and we'll see you next week. We're doing Dover, so that'll be something.
Oh, I've got to have my livery for that one. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll let that one go for that race, and then
one race moratorium. I think we can handle that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You take care, Lewis, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. We'll bring Andrew Spates up here. Hey, Andrew. This is Matt and Gary up in the booth. How's it going? You started third. You finished third. You had some laps led. Tell us about your race overall, though. And we don't have Andrew. He's probably trying to find why he has the push to talk and not the voice activity button.
Yeah, while he's
hey guys, can you hear me?
There he is. There he is.
Can't use my computer still. I'll figure it out one day.
So yeah, tell us about your race. You started third, finished third. You had some laps led. You had a great battle with Dakota at times, and battle with Lewis as well.
Yeah, at times is the key there. At the beginning there, it was tough to follow, and I was getting some understeer in turn 1 and bumped the wall a few times, and I was trying not to do that towards the end, and I was getting some good battles with Dakota, but just couldn't hang on, and Lewis was fast behind me and just kind of took over as well. When I was up front, it was a lot easier than following. a little tricky there, but man, that was a lot of fun. That was a really fun race.
Hey, one thought I just came to was, how happy were you when that caution came out? On lap, because you wouldn't have made it if they went full green to the end. You pit at like lap 88, or sorry, with 32 laps. Yeah, whatever that would be. But it would have been really tough to make it from there. Dakota probably was getting the lap 90 there, but that saved you, and you kept the lead through all that.
Yeah, I lucked out big time. As soon as I passed Dakota, I looked at my fuel and I said, I can see him just saving sitting in my draft, so that works out for him. And I thought, let's just go full throttle here, and maybe a caution or two will come out, and they did, and that kind of helped me out, because you're right. It was either going to be really maybe fuel mode 8 there for a few laps and seeing how not to get past. But sometimes you got to get lucky. You just got to stay in it to be up there. So it worked out all right.
Yeah, sometimes the strategy comes to you. You just go for it and hope that something happens, and it did for you. And because if it didn't, you'd have been 10th or something like that. But either way, you got a podium finish here tonight. Be good points for you. Any shout outs, any sponsors, things like that? Anybody watching that you want to thank?
Just thank you guys and Kresge and everyone else for putting this on. It's a lot of fun. Last year I ran the Turbo Series, and that was a lot of fun. And this year, running in the big leagues is a lot more competition, but it's exciting, and everyone's really good people that race, and we try to have as much fun and do clean racing, and look forward to it every week. So just can't thank everyone enough for putting the time and the effort into this. It's a good experience.
Speaking of the Daredevil Turbo Series, so you were in that last season. Watson was also there. He was our champion. But two of those guys, you included, are in the top 6 here tonight. So good place to start your RIL career here in iRacing. So good league to be in.
It's a good intro.
Yeah. Well, next week we're going to be going to Dover. I wonder if you even have the track. Since it's a NASCAR track, not everybody has it that are running the IndyCars, because the IndyCars barely ever run it. Any thoughts going there, though?
I will be practicing this weekend.
Yeah, I don't even know what setup we're going to be using, so I bet Kresge has to post that one, because I don't think there would be a Dover setup from iRacing, at least not yet. Could be wrong, though. Anyway, you take care, and we'll see you in a week.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good one.
Congrats.
Thanks. All right, well, we'll do a final run through here. Final results. Actually missed doing that last week, so we're not going to do that again, Gary.
Well, and actually, I think we have updated points that they already put on Dan Lisa.
Okay.
So we got Dakota is, of course, the leader. James Watson is 75 behind. Zimkowski moves to P3, gains 4 spots. He's minus 101 behind. Spates moved up 8 spots to 4th.
Wow.
And those were the big gainers. The next 3 guys either had a bad day or didn't make the race, and that was Sanders, Coogan, and Morris. Lewis Woodall plus 14 as he's now P8 in the championship, only 126 behind the leader, and only 2 points behind Isaac Morris in 7th spot. So those are your driver standings.
Well, let's go through the results, but Kresge also reminded me next week is the NASCAR Throwback Week, too. So more reason that Lewis gets to have his moratorium on his livery there. So for those that don't know, let me just mention that. We've got an IndyCar livery on Lewis. He has a NASCAR paint that he tries to run, so I've got that special one just for him that I force him to run here. Anyway, our results here. Dakota DeMay takes that top spot. Big race of the season here at Indianapolis. This is, I have to imagine, like he said, like we said, this is his biggest iRacing career win. So he's going to get that milk. We're going to watch for it in the Discord chat. Lewis Woodall in P2, Andrew Spates P3, Alex Zimkowski, he was battling for the podium at points, is in P4, Lucas Santos P5, James Watson. Gary mentioned he's going to move up into. Well, he was already there, wasn't he? In P2 in points.
Yeah, he kind of secures. He kind of secures a spot in P3 or P2. So good on him. And of course, he is the defending Turbo Series champion. So he is, like I said, you said the Turbo Series guys had a pretty good day today. Now, let's not forget James Curtis, who was up there in P3 for much of the day. We got taken out by a wreck, but the Turbo guys more than held their own. So hats off to those guys. So
we had Hans Schlogel in P7, John Cosgrove P8, Jacob Odell P9, Antonio Benini P10, Aiden Herman P11, Michael Holler P12, Alex Teeter P13, James Curtis, as we mentioned before, in P14, Christian Jasper, he was up in the podium at points, had an unfortunate brush with the wall. He winds up P15. Pete Donchek, P16, Drew White, P17, Caleb Morrissey, Jonathan Libertor, Scott Wheeler, P20.
Yeah, before you get down to these guys, I think from 20th on is everybody that got impacted in that first lap wreck. So when he starts naming names and he doesn't stop, you'll realize how many cars were involved in that wreck. I think I counted like 12. So go ahead.
So it'll be John Lynch, Chris Albee, Christian Alessio, Shane Coogan, Chris Kresge, Stephen Ritters, Kyle Allura, Nicholas Isidro, so our winner from the first season of RIL here at Indianapolis, Neil Lesher, P29, Bensi, our last season, so 2 champions of this race out in the first lap, and John Freeze, our final position, and no fault of John there, he just happened to slide the least of everybody, so yeah, tough break for him out here tonight, but that's it for us here tonight. Unless you have any final thoughts, Gary, we'll be back here in 1 week, 8 o'clock for Dover.
Yeah, excited for Dover. These cars really aren't suited for Dover. IndyCar ran there for about 3 seasons. And the main reason they stopped going there was actually twofold. People didn't show up, and also Dallara and G-Force, they love the races because the team owners all had to come to them the following Monday with replacement part bills to own from, because pretty much all those races were wrecks. But we will get to debut the Greg Ray shooting lasers out of his eyes picture during that race, and we'll get to talk about some other histories from when the IndyCar has ran there. Prior to that, IRL running there. Champ Car ran there. The USAC Champ Car ran there back in the late 60s, and I think Al Unser or Bobby Unser won that race. So there's a small history there we'll talk about, but I'm looking forward to next week. Not necessarily looking forward to see Indy cars dressed up in NASCAR paint, but hey, that's what they voted on, so to each their own. But tonight was a great race. A third of the field finished, which is kind of pretty typical for these races. That first wreck, first lap, it was really unfortunate. I wish we didn't see it. We probably could have had, more cars running here at the finish. It really is going to impact the points for quite a few people. This is probably going to be their drop week. But what can you say? It's racing. But good. Everybody in that top 3 definitely earned their position and then some. So a good race, and looking forward to moving on next week to Dover.
All right. Once again, thanks to Schaeffer's for sponsoring the series here. Also, Daredevil Brewery for sponsoring the Turbo Series over there. And we'll head out of here with another commercial break there for Schaeffer's.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us some support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.